All right. Hey there, Jen from the Berrien History blog, and I am standing in front of a Storic grave in Storic Cemetery. Now, you may not know where Storic Cemetery is because it's usually referred to as Oak Grove Cemetery, but it originally was referred to as Storic Cemetery. Here's a picture of that stone that I was standing in front of, and I want to talk about these two ladies who are etched into the stone and who are buried either right here and right here or right here and right here. I can't really tell because they're so old, but let's look at them here. We have Sarah A., who died October 18th, 1865 at the age of 27 years old. And we have Maria H., or possibly Mariah. She died October 18th, 1865 at the age of 20 years old. And it says, if you can make out here, children of J and F Storic. So, J and F Storic, here we go. John Storic, born Christmas Day, 1800, I think that says, died in 1885. And his wife Fanny, whose maiden name was Freed, the daughter of Abraham Freed. She died 1883, I think. She was 78, 75 maybe years old. But anyway, let's go back to the girls, because the girls, sisters, Sarah, we'll just say Maria, because I think it's Maria. You notice anything funny about those dates? Read them again. Died October 18th, 1865. And her younger sister, Maria, died October 18th, 1865. So when I was coming over here, when I was just a young person, which seems like just yesterday, but it was a long time ago now, I saw these dates and I thought, whoa, that's interesting. Why did they die on the same day? Did they get killed? Were they murdered? Were they in a horse and buggy accident? 1865? Were they in the Civil War? Well, yeah. No, they weren't in the Civil War, obviously. But I always wondered that. What happened to them? And I'm going to tell you what happened to them because I figured it out. It took me a while, but I figured it out. But first I want to go back a little ways. John Storic was the son of Louis Storic. And Louis Storic is right here. Right there. There's another nice big grave with a batch of wheat all wrapped up. I think it's wheat, some sort of harvest. There you go, father. You can make that one out. Mother. Louis, who was born 1776. How about that? 250 years old, huh? Just like America. Anyway, his wife was named Maria. So, how about that? Now, these would be the grandparents of Sarah and Maria. So, that's why I think it's Maria, not Mariah. But, anyway, the Storics came, at least this branch of Storics came from Pennsylvania. And they had more kids, too. John wasn't the only kid. There's a lot of kids, a lot of Storics. And John and Fanny had a lot of kids, too. They had at least 2 other kids who were also buried in the cemetery. And I'll show you their graves. They had a son as well. And the son, it took some doing, but I finally found him. He's over here. And his stone that's his stone. And you can't hardly make it out, but it's James F. Storic. Right here, James F. Storic. And of course, the ground's taken over here. And he died October 11, 1806. Can't make out the last letter, but I can tell you what it is. It's 1865. And if that sounds familiar, it should, because that's the same year his sisters died. Now, James was 41 years old. Some reports have him being 36 years old, but it actually says right on his tombstone, and there's earlier pictures of that stone that said right on there that he was aged 41 years. So I tend to go by the stones and what they said. And he died a week before his sisters. Now, he's buried here next to his wife, who remarried, and she became a palmeter. That's her new husband there, Elias. And her maiden name was Shemley. I think there's some Shemleys in this cemetery too. So, all these Stork kids, Sarah was 37 years old. Maria was 21 years old. James was 41 years old. They all died from the flu. Apparently there was an epidemic going around, influenza epidemic, and they all got sick and died and probably gave it to one another. And if I had to guess, probably the parents had a touch of it too, and they just, they survived it. So probably the other kids too. So the other kids, let's go up front here. We don't have to walk far to see Sarah, Maria, James, two brothers. We have William Stork. This is a really, really nice, pretty grave. Look at that. He was a Mason. You see, if you ever see that symbol, that's a Mason symbol. William B. and Laura, and they had a infant, 3 years old, who died, Olive. But he lived to 1899, so he lived a pretty long life. And let me turn around once more and go over here to see another Stork grave. This one doesn't say anything on the front, and you can't really make out much. I can see Effie in that one. That was probably a little girl. And a Mary Stork. And here's the son, Hiram. Hiram E. Stork. And he lived into looks like 1908. So, you had Hiram, you had William, you had James, and you had the two girls. And James and the two girls passed away. Hiram and William did not. Went on to have families of their own. Sarah did have two children. I think they were daughters. I can't remember what her married name was right away. It's not on Find a Grave. I got to go back to Ancestry and look it up. So there you go. Mystery solved. They died of the flu. Not very exciting. Tragic nonetheless. But here's another Stork. This is why this cemetery is called Stork Cemetery, because there's so many Storks in here. And I love graves like this. These are called white bronze. They actually made of zinc. All the rage around 1890, 1900. And if you go up to them, you can hear they're hollow. And they hold up really well. So this is Maggie Frances Stork, and she was born in Virginia. Now, the other Storks I was just talking about came from Pennsylvania. Maria was actually the first kid born in Berrien County. But Maggie Frances married Simon. There's his grave. Simon Stork, Simon B. Stork. So I don't know how he fits into the Storks that I was just talking about. I mean, I imagine he does somehow. But I just wanted to show you the white bronze. Sometimes they're called zinkers, zinkies. Even her little, foot stone here is zinc. It's actually got a hole in it. But I don't know why it says 1890, because I was looking earlier and she actually died in 1888 at the age of 39. And She's got a nice symbolism there with the anchor. If you remember when I wrote about the anchor symbolism, doesn't mean she died at sea, just it means something very mundane, very, you know, like appropriate, like she just died young. Bird, little scripture there, another little wheat batched up there, flowers. This is Oddfellows, so Hiram was probably a member of the Oddfellows, which, oh, look at there. That looks familiar. Yeah, I've come across that too, the symbolism. In Crystal Springs Cemetery, there's a statue of a lady clinging to a cross, and it even says on there, "Onto the cross I cling," or something like that. "Thee I cling," something like that. But it's in the ravine, and they're cleaning it up. Actually, they cleaned it up Monday. I took the day off because my back was not feeling so hot, so, but same symbol there. All sorts of symbols. Love the symbols. So I will get back to you on how she's related to our other storks, our Lewis family, our John family. But meanwhile, just wanted to give you a little story there of Sarah and Maria. And they died in 1865, October the 18th. So I'm going to walk back to my car. I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. The rain finally let up. Real quick, just panning around the cemetery. Look at that. All the stones are nice in rows, all nice and even, and you know, some old, some knocked over and such, but then you look straight ahead and there's that one painter grave, and it's just like going the opposite direction. They just wanted to go against the grain. You see it right in front of me? That's so funny, ain't it? But anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, signing off at the Historic Cemetery in Orinoco Township, Berrien Springs, Michigan.